So, what is dropshipping? What is it and how do you get started? In this video, I speak with successful dropshipper Julien Coutellier about how you can start a successful dropshipping business. Hello everyone, I am Joseph Cox and this is Ecommerce Joe. In today's episode, I'm speaking about dropshipping with a real-life dropshipper. Julien Coutellier is a successful e-commerce entrepreneur, and as I said, he's a dropshipper. And Julien and I are talking about everything to do with dropshipping. It's a pretty long interview. However, if you're interested in getting started on dropshipping, then this is definitely the episode for you. We speak about several things that you really don't hear people talking about online. For example, at one point, Julien's e-commerce store gets hijacked and someone commits fraud, which impacts a lot of his customers. Definitely worth watching. So if you've got any questions about dropshipping, this is the episode for you. Let's get started.
So my name is Julien. I'm 34 and I started the dropshipping about a year and a half ago, early 2019. And it's working pretty well. So I'm happy about that.
34. I thought you don't look a day over 28, Julien.
No, I'm 34. Yeah, I know, I look younger.
And so for anybody watching this, so the whole point of this episode is to talk about dropshipping in general. So we're going to presume that people don't know anything about dropshipping. Before we actually speak about the basics, how long have you been dropshipping for?
So I started early 2019. So it's like it will be shortly 2 years, with a bit over a year and a half.
Okay. Do you feel like you're experienced in it now? Like, is 1 year or 2 years, is that a long time in dropshipping?
Oh, yeah, it's weird because time is flying. So I feel like it's a very long time when it's actually just a year and a half, because you go through different process. Early stages, it's very difficult. You need to improve. You need to learn a lot of things, and then you improve a lot. So I have the feeling that it's been a very long while, but it's just a bit over a year. So yeah, it's not that long.
And what is it? What is dropshipping?
So dropshipping, it's basically the fact to have an online store, and unlike proper classic e-commerce, is the fact that we're not owning any stock. That means we're making sales first. We advertise, making sales first, and then buy the product through a supplier that is the supplier is going to ship the product directly to the customers. So we don't have to buy stock, make sales, and then ship the product to the customers. We're having the sales, and then the suppliers ship directly the product to the customers.
So they ship them directly. So regular e-commerce is when someone buys all the goods themselves, they hold the inventory somewhere, but you're not actually doing that. And what are the advantages? And I appreciate that might be an obvious question, but what are the advantages to that?
Well, it's risk mitigation, basically, because when you buy an inventory, you better be sure that you're going to sell everything. Otherwise, it's a lot of investment, so you can lose a lot of money. So you need a very solid business plan to do that. And even with a very solid business plan, we know how it is, like a business. Sometimes you have a lot of unexpected things that may happen. So dropshipping is a very, very convenient thing to do for someone that just want to get started in the business, in the online business. So you don't need to have a lot of cost upfront.
Okay, so and that's because most of the costs would usually be actually buying the goods.
Yeah,
there must be some disadvantages though.
Well, compared to e-commerce.
What are the disadvantages compared to e-commerce businesses?
Yeah, well, let's say it's a bit harder to do some branding right off the bat, right at the start, because you don't actually own the stock. So like you have to deal with the supplier from distance. So yeah, it's a bit harder. Like if you have some inventory right at the beginning, you can already work on the packaging. You can work on having a professional taking like some professional photos and like a lot of customization that can be done right at the beginning. As for drop shipping, in the early stages, it's not impossible, but it's harder to have some proper branding, to make the difference with the competition.
So I'm going to drill down into some of those areas later, because you mentioned product. I think you kind of touched on the branding, which to me would be a combination of advertising and the store, a bit of packaging. But before we do, can you give a kind of an overview of the drop shipping process? Like I said, if someone doesn't know what it is.
Sure, it's the first stage. The first thing to do is market research or a product research to really understand what product is likely to be successful. So that's the first thing to do is, okay, what am I going to sell? Because the first mistake that can be made at the beginning, I made it, and pretty much everybody's done it, is to just be excited about a product personally.
Yeah.
And then usually it's like about clothes or jewelry or this kind of stuff. And so because I like this product so much, okay, I'm going to make like a pretty nice little store. And then you advertise like hoping that because I like it, everybody is going to like it. But it never works like that. So as like a professional, you have to really, really study the market. How is that done? Like in terms of drop shipping, like and e-commerce in general, the advertisement takes place on social media. So really spying on social media, spending hours and hours on analyzing all the advertisements, what works, what don't work, why does it work, the engagement. And from there, like finding a good supplier, talking to the suppliers to see like how many of these products are they selling in general, if the trend is up, analyzing the trends as well. So that's for the product selection at the beginning. So that's the first stage. Then the second stage, obviously, is to design.
That's the first step. All of that is one step.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that's the first step. Then once the product is selected, so obviously, we need to design the store. So basically make a store around it. Finding a supplier, and then starting the last step is to do the ad creative and to start advertising.
Wow! So you've got
to get some traffic.
Find the product.
Yeah.
Then you build the store, or do you find the supplier first?
Well, it's better to find a supplier, but let's say it's to find a supplier.
Yeah.
So to be sure that we can import the product, source the product, then doing the store, and then when we start advertising, then we can look further into suppliers and what suppliers better, best prices, and all this stuff. But yeah, I always say that in general, like there are three main steps. Like there's a lot of things to do, but the main steps is the product selection, the store, a store that converts, and the advertisement part. That's the three things, meaning if two of these steps are really well done, like the best in the world, but the last one is not done properly, it's not going to be profitable. Any of those, like the three steps have to be like really consistent and really professional. Otherwise, it's not profitable. It's as I say, like often it's simple, not easy. It's very simple. The concept is simple. Everybody can do it, but it doesn't mean that everybody that's gonna do it is gonna be successful, because it's not easy. It's simple but not easy.
It seems to me like it's like a triangle. Like you need to have it kind of well balanced. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, that's the way I see it as well.
Oh no. Would you say that it's probably a leading question here, but would you say that any one is more important than the other? Or
no, that's the three. Like I said, it's like any of those three that wouldn't be like properly, thoroughly thought, that wouldn't be profitable. Sometimes it happens. And that's why sometimes even myself, that I'm used to it now, and I'm trying to be very productive, because you're never sure that something that you work on is actually going to work. So you try to not to spend too much time on things that are not necessary. But sometimes by trying to be too fast, you forget that you really need every single element to be really, really well done. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So it happens sometimes that I'm trying to build a store very quickly because I'm used to it. So it's kind of pretty fast to build the stores. But sometimes I realize that, yeah, I should have put like more work into this part, because look, now I have some traffic, but doesn't convert. So you need to work to be back on the store and build the funnel in a better way.
So going on a bit of a segue here, the people that hopefully are watching this don't know too much about dropshipping. And if they're like me, they've happened to click on a few different videos and they're now getting advertisements from these kind of guys with their Lamborghinis in the background being like, oh, I'm a dropshipper, pay for my course. You're not selling a course that I'm aware of. No, so you've got no sort of ulterior motive. I'm not. No. And the question I was going to ask is dropshipping a scam? Because when I see those things, for me, I just think this isn't real. Like, what these people are selling me, like a dream, rather than.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it, because obviously when we see a lot of advertisement about something that the people that advertise said, oh, everybody can do it, and then you can earn like millions. Or yeah, the first reaction, even for myself, the first time is like, okay, like I'm not gonna pay attention because that must be a scam. It's actually not. So it's actually not a scam at all. The only thing is, because it's very early, there is no barrier of entry, and it seems very nice. So that there is a lot. It's very trendy. There are a lot of people doing it. So meaning that in the process, like among all these people, you're always going to find scammer, obviously. So that's the problem with that. Every time that there is something that's very trendy, so you have a lot of people that wants to take advantage. So they're going to have like a lot of scammers. But dropshipping, the dropshipping model is not a scam at all. So that's for the people like selling courses like about dropshipping. So you're gonna have like, and I would love to say, I would like to say actually most of them are not scam at all. That they are like really, really, I don't know them all, like the courses, because I bought just one. But I heard about other, like what we call them, like dropshipping guru. Like most of them, they're not scammers, because usually the thing with scammers is that they don't last long. Like so the people that you see, and the good thing to do actually is to look at the YouTube channel and to see if that person that's been making videos about dropshipping for over a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's very likely that they're not scammer, because otherwise, like, they would have had like reviews and like it would be known.
Yeah.
So now the gurus, like mostly it's people that have been successful in dropshipping, and what they want to do, even if they're not going to advertise about that like right away, is to generate like even more income and revenues, because they're knowledgeable and they have skills about like how to be profitable with dropshipping business. So they start selling courses, which like make them more income and even more profits. So that's the right thing to do. I'm not so comfortable about that yet, because I mean, maybe in the future, first of all, I'm not so interested about like making a course, but why not in the future? But no, that's not in my interest right now. About scam, also the thing is about the term dropshipping, it's also often associated with scam because of, as I said, there are a lot of people that are drawn to start dropshipping business because they think, okay, I'm gonna get rich quick. So the problem with that is there are a lot of people that think it's gonna be easy. So as they find out that it's not, you have a lot of scammers as well as a merchant. That means they open a dropshipping store, they copy, they duplicate a store that they see somewhere else, and they don't do like any professional business. They just try to make money, and then when they're frustrated, what they do, they either copy or well, they copy all the time actually, because they don't want to like take the time to just have some proper marketing. And also it happens also that they don't send the product at all, and that's like really a scam.
So they're actually stealing the customer's money because
also it happens. So it's not like it's not the majority of people, but as we said, like the more people there are, like you're always gonna find scammers. So it may happen. And also the last part, for a big part of the dropshippers who are not professionals, that want to get money quick, and they don't put the effort, they don't put the work, they also don't put the effort in terms of finding product qualities. Meaning they don't find a proper supplier, they just source their product from AliExpress. There's no problem about that, because usually that's what I do, and that's what everybody does at the beginning, just to source the product, to test, to do some testing. But as soon as the testing is done, you have to find a proper supplier to have like a quality product. And a lot of people,
I'm going to drill down into that one in a bit. You mentioned that you did sorry to cut you off. You mentioned that you did a course on YouTube, sorry, you mentioned that you paid someone to learn about dropshipping. Where's the best place for someone who's completely new to this to learn about dropshipping? And also, whose course did you do? Would you recommend it?
So, well, I don't know if I would love to recommend it, but the only thing is, as a French national, I bought a course in French. So I'm not sure that a lot of people are going to be interested because it's 100% in French. But that's what I believe that to be the best, even worldwide, the best course.
What is their name? Just in case there is someone French.
Yomi, the guy is called Yomi, Yomi, and he made millions and millions, like multi-millionaire now. So he started selling courses, and his course, it's been already over 2 years that he's selling courses. And his course is very, very thorough, and he updates it like on a regular basis with new techniques and stuff. He has a Facebook group in which he also do live stream every week to answer the question. It's like very, very, very good course. But there are a lot of courses that are very, very, very good as well in English. I'm not gonna give names of stuff because I didn't pay for their course, so I'm pretty sure, because I have only good reviews and I hear only good things about it, so they must be good. And you see also the videos on YouTube, their channel are very good. Even their free content on YouTube is very good, so I'm guessing their course must be very good as well. So the good place to start is it's on YouTube, obviously, where you find a lot of tutorials.
What would be the good search key terms if someone was getting started? Would it literally be get started?
Well, it's very easy because the algorithm on YouTube is very it's very powerful. So the algorithm is gonna do the big part of it. You don't need to worry about that. But if you type how to get started with dropshipping, or anything you want to know about dropshipping, how does dropshipping work, how to find a supplier, how to do that, how to start a Shopify store, and there are gonna be thousands and thousands of videos. And as soon as you see that you've seen videos of the same person, start checking the YouTube channel, and that's about it. One thing about that though, a lot of people, and that's a big mistake, think that YouTube is gonna be enough. Because, there is all the resources on YouTube and it's for free. Why would I buy a course? I don't want to spend my money on a course. But that's a mistake. That's a big mistake, because although you can find a lot of tutorials, almost every topic as free content on YouTube, it's not enough to be very successful. If you want to be very successful, like every business, although it sounds very simple, very easy. That's what is very attractive about dropshipping. It's a proper business. So you can make quick, easy money, but it's not going to last if you don't take it as a proper business. And so you need to invest in a course. That's a mistake in general. Actually, it's not to want to invest any money in software or in a course or in inventory or, oh, wow, I can have that like for cheaper. So I'm going to do it this way. Now, when things are, you have to pay for it, it's like most likely there is a reason for it. So it's like quality.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way to go. It's to invest on something, and that's like what I learned at the beginning. Not about course, because right away I bought a course because I thought that was the way to go, to have like proper content about everything. But also quickly, like I realized at the beginning, I remember I was doing my advertisement, the ad creative, the videos on the online free software, like to edit the videos, and it was so bad. It was so bad. I was spending hours and hours, but I just say, oh, like a software cost, like a good one cost like something like maybe 250, 300 pounds or something like this. I said, oh, well, I can spare this money. I can do that for free. And then when a couple of months later, I say, well, I generated a bit of money. I can invest that money to have like a proper software. And then I realized, well, stupid I was not to have done that in the first place, because first of all, you do something that with better quality and like way faster. So yeah, you need to invest. And then when you understand that, then like it's better, everything goes faster, and then you have a better quality. So you're more profitable. Well, it sounds logical, but at the very beginning, that's a mistake that a lot of people do.
Yeah,
make is to try to save like all the money, not to spend money where you can save, and you shouldn't do that.
So I didn't ask at the beginning, but why is it that you actually started dropshipping?
Well, like most people, I guess first I wasn't very happy as an employee. I was working in hospitality. Like a lot of people know, hospitality, it's not an easy job. Like a lot of jobs are not easy, but like it was very frustrating. Never mind it in the past, but I was working in London, a restaurant was very busy, and that was the first time I really hated it. So I was in a place at that moment where I really hated the job. And then I saw on YouTube, I saw videos about dropshipping. I had a bit of savings, so I was checking sometimes on YouTube how to invest money, how to make like money. And automatically I ended up finding videos on dropshipping. So watch video on dropshipping, like most people do, say, wow, it seems easy. It seems like... And the more I dug, and then I found more videos, I kind of took my time to watch a lot of videos. I said, well, it really, really seems like something I could make happen. I could do it. So why not try? I say, well, you have nothing to lose. Like, well, just try.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that, unlike most people, I didn't try and wait for it to work to drop my job. I actually dropped my job before to start because it seems risky like this. Everybody told me, like, you're kind of crazy. But because I knew that if I was trying to do it on the side at the beginning, that would be just something that I could allocate like an hour here and another hour there. And then because I would have the salary, I wouldn't need to do it. So any day that would be lazy or too tired or didn't have time, I wouldn't put too much time into it, and then it would never work. It would never last. So I'm thinking, if I want to make that happen, I know myself, I need to have no choice. So I just resigned my job, and then, also the reason, as I said, I hated it. So that was a good reason for me. Like, look, like you hate this job, that's not the way to go. So just try it out. You have a bit of saving, and then if it doesn't work, you will have no regret. You will be looking for another job. You will find it in hospitality. It's not that hard. So that's the way I started. And when you don't have choice, usually you do the right thing and then you make it happen. So that's what happened.
Oh, wow. And how long did it take to actually start to work? And did you ever think, oh no, this was a mistake, like I should have kept my job?
Well, no, I never thought like I shouldn't have done that, but it took to have some results. It was fairly quick, but there are results and results, because the thing, you can make a lot of revenue, but not much profit. And that's the big difference. Because it's easy to say, like, I made 10,000 pounds in sales or 50,000 pounds in sales, but then at the end of the month, you just got like $1,000 or $2,000. And then because you're spending a lot on advertisement, on on goods and on everything. But yeah, so the having sales was fairly quick, but then to be like really profitable and make money, it took a while. It took a little while. It took a few months.
Yeah.
I think by month, like the first month, I really spent it like watching all the videos on the course, designing the stores, because at the beginning you want to do everything perfectly. And it's funny because you take like twice as long or 3 times or 10 times as long as it should be, and on top of it, you're doing it the wrong way. So
what makes you say it takes as long as it should do? Like,
because, well, for example, at the beginning, and I know because when I'm talking in general, it's because I'm in contact with a lot of people that are doing the drop shipping. So I know it's like the case for most people. Because, well, like most people, I was not knowledgeable at all about online, digital marketing online and all this stuff. So I learned as I went. And for the store, for example, it's you want to make everything perfectly. And first of all, you need to learn how to interact with the platform. So you don't know how everything works, the blogs, and how to make the thing happen. And even when you do know, you pay way too much attention to design instead of marketing. So of course now, because I've been designing so many stores, like I'm gonna do the whole thing in one day. But basically at the beginning, you can take a whole week, if not 2 weeks, to make your perfect little store, which usually it's not really done in a way that's actually gonna convert, because the design is good, and that's the first thing that we think about in the first place. It needs to look good. It needs to be beautiful. That's one thing, and that seems like obvious, but that's not all. It's actually more profitable to have a store that's ugly, but that
really
has the right thing about marketing, rather to have like a beautiful store, but not the right thing. Like when I said the right thing, the right elements, for example, and then you learn it's all about marketing. That means like you need to have reviews, you need to have marketing angles, you need to have like as many photos as text, not too much text. At the beginning, I was putting too much text, and then you gotta realize that most of this purchase, the sales are coming from impulsive, that means people, they don't spend so much time, and then 90% of the sales are on the mobile phone. So people are commuting, they're on the tube, they're waiting somewhere, and then they spend a very limited amount of time on the website. So they really, usually when they buy, they don't spend like an hour on the website, and then they're coming back later, and then it's not a long process. Usually it's impulsive. So that's why you need to have the right element. Like people, for example, the text, I mentioned the text I was putting because I wanted to give so many arguments, so many things for the customers, to so many good reasons, when actually when there is too much text, people, they just go away because they don't want to read all the stuff. So it's the right balance between text, between photos, have the reviews, some trust badges, like in terms of security, all these little elements like that you need to mention. They need to be there very quickly for the customers to see, instead of just, as I said, doing the design, and then what's important, like you put it in the wrong place or at the bottom of the page, or it's not even there. So that's why.
So when you said they're commuting, did you say that the advertising is intrusive? So it's like it's kind of usually you're interrupting them while they're in their day, and just been like,
that's pretty much that's not, sounds not very nice, but it's actually the way it is. It's because it's on social media. It's people that don't go on their phone to look at an advertisement. They go on their phone to scroll through their social media. The thing that, like, mostly now in these days, 95% of people are doing is just scrolling through social media. And when you tell them, like, well, you spend 2-3 hours on your phone, nobody realizes it and nobody wants to admit it. But everybody is addicted to your phone, and then they scroll, like, whether not even consciously. Like you just see it on the train, and then we have nothing to do, so you scroll on your feed, and that's what happens. So people do that, or because they want to check on their whatever, but they scroll on social media, and then we advertise on social media. So the ad, so we can come back to that later, but the ad is made in a way to attract the attention. In the first 3 seconds, for example, say, oh wow, that looks good. That with the targeting, that means when you advertise, you target some interest. So that means you're supposed to show the ad to someone that's likely to be interested in this product. And if the video is well made and then attract the attention for 3 seconds, like you're gonna click on the ad, you land on the website, and then the website has to, as I said, have to have the right elements and be attractive enough, have a good marketing offer as well, to make the customer say, oh, wow, that's a good idea. So yeah, I can get that.
We'll drill into a few of those bits in a moment. I know when I'm searching through, like on my phone, scrolling stuff, like you go so quickly sometimes, you literally, although it might sound bad to say interruptive or intrusive, you kind of, that's the only chance you have to get your message across. You said when you were getting started that you didn't have, or am I right in saying that you didn't have any experience in building a website or in Facebook ads?
I had zero experience to tell you, and well, I'm not embarrassed because now, like, I learned all the stuff and I'm pretty knowledgeable, I believe. But I didn't even own a laptop, and I remember I bought a laptop. And I was really, there are people like they're really into either gaming or computers and stuff. So even if they're not really into marketing and this stuff, they know how to navigate and like really use a computer. Me, I was really, really bad at it. I didn't even own a laptop. I remember I bought a laptop for that reason, and I didn't even know the keyboard shortcut and stuff. So I really learned from zero.
Wow.
And if you, like everything in life, like everyone, if you put like the effort and you're persistent and you believe that it's gonna work, well, you just learn. It might take a bit longer than someone else, but who cares? Like you're working for yourself. And then that's also one mistake. Like, well, this is more about mindset, but is you shouldn't pay attention to the results of others when you start, because otherwise you're gonna get frustrated very quickly. Because the thing is, people advertise on their results. It's only people that have results that advertise on their results. The people that don't make it happen quickly or have bad results, they're not going to advertise about it. So when you see on Facebook groups or like people that say, oh yeah, well, started a month ago and already doing 6 figures and stuff. If you just get started like me, I did at the beginning, you're really not knowledgeable about anything. And then you just type on your laptop, you're very slow, and it's a very slow process. If you see that and then you're affected because they, oh, wow, it's been 2 months now that I'm doing that and I don't have much result. And I see these people like after 1 month, they're doing 6 figures already. So you can quickly think, and it's wrong to, okay, I'm not meant for that. That's not my stuff. It's not for me. So I should give up and just be realistic. No, you shouldn't pay attention to other people like results and just keep focused on the work and just what you believe in yourself.
So did you have any special skills that helped you with this, or is it that you literally came into it?
No, I mean, to be honest, as I said, as I started from nothing, there was just a mindset, I guess. That helped me a lot. And it's not technical, so we're maybe not going to get into that, but it's like for business in general, that's why you hear like people in the books or like in terms of self-development, mindset comes back all the time, because it's actually 90% of it. Because you can have all the skills, but if you don't have like the mindset, the persistent resilience, and then like, all the setbacks and stuff to go over it and stuff. So it's never going to work. So better have a good mindset and zero skills than like all the skills and a bad mindset.
Did you have, but it seems like quite a crazy kind of risky move, right? Quitting your job. Did you have any savings set aside? Do you have, have you got a partner? Like, how do they?
Well, I started on my own, but I had a bit of savings. To be fair, I had a bit of savings, so I knew that I wasn't gonna be like in trouble. I remember I was thinking I was allowing myself 3 months. I was thinking, okay, I have 3 months savings, and then if at the end of the 3rd month I don't have like substantial results, that will be time to find a job because I'm gonna start to be like in trouble financially, so I will have to find another job. I was never really like worried about that because, well, depends the job that you're doing. If it's like well, actually, I'm just thinking about hospitality, and I know that I've been traveling a lot in different countries and stuff. I never had any problem to find a job in hospitality because, yeah, it's fairly easy to find a position in a hotel, in a restaurant, something like this. So I knew that, and I had like kind of lots of experience in that industry already. So I knew that, like, if I needed like the day after to find a job, it would take me like 48 hours to find a new job. So I wasn't really worried about that. I knew that I had like all to gain and nothing to lose by doing that. Like, oh yeah, a bit of savings, but then I would have gained a good experience in terms of this digital marketing stuff and in like for myself as well. So I was willing to take the risk, if you want to call it a risk, but it's
just so I guess most people have a lot of I guess if someone's got a mortgage or they've got like kids and things like that, there's a lot of expenses to kind of worry about.
That's hard. I wouldn't encourage someone to do that. Well, first of all, to quit your job first, I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that because depending on the situation, what it worked for me because I knew what I was doing financially. So yeah, that was the right thing to do. I'm sure that was the right thing to do for me, but that might not be the good solution because you need to realize that it's not that easy, the dropshipping, even if it seems like it at the beginning. And yeah, if you have responsibilities, if you have kids and then mortgage and stuff, like you need to start, like you need to have like some good savings, like some serious savings. And
how much did you start with in this? Like, how much did you set aside to launch your first product or store? And did it work? Did your first product work? We'll ask that after actually. How much did you set aside?
Yeah, well, my first I made sales because I know like they are, and I'm pretty happy about that actually because all the person that I know, everybody has in common that the first store never worked and barely had any sales. And I'm happy because like even my first store, I always had sales and not even just one or two. I had like quite a few. And to be back to the first store actually that I built and I started, I finished it thinking that it wasn't profitable, and it wasn't profitable the way I was running it, but also because it was my first store and I wasn't really knowledgeable in terms of advertising. And I'm thinking, and I thought about that like a few months later, I was thinking about, actually, you remember this first store? Knowing what I know now, I'm pretty sure I could have done better with that store, and maybe I could have pushed it and have like some good profits. But I think I ran it for a week or two and I had some sales. So I kept like running the store, but then after 2 weeks, like I wasn't profitable. So I was constantly losing money, but a bit of money because I was making sales. So, and after a couple of weeks, okay, that doesn't work. So I stopped. I'm pretty sure that didn't work because I wasn't necessarily doing the right thing with advertisement. So that's how we went for the first store. Yeah.
How many stores have you had?
I don't know, not as many as I know people that they do, but I must have had something like, I don't know, between maybe 20, I don't know, 20.
See, every time I check in with Kyle to be like, how's the bookkeeping coming? He's like, oh, he's got another store.
Yeah, no, because the thing is, and that's something I didn't do at the beginning because it took me a while to open a store and it was a big deal opening a new store. Like it's going to take me forever to build it. So what I was doing at one point is to have a store, and then when it didn't work, instead of opening a new store, I was like changing the product on the store. So just changing, like deleting everything and just changing the whole store with like a new logo, and then just the name of the store was the same. Can be good sometimes, but not all the time. So as I was like faster and more efficient to build stores, so as soon as I got in my head, I said, well, it's all about testing, because you test products even if like you have a way to select it like better now is you still have to expect like failure when you do testing. So if it's in the same niche, you keep the same store and then you try different products. But when you have an opportunity about a product that may work, now I push myself, say, okay, start a new store, because otherwise you waste too much time, and then 1 month it goes, because I'm setting objectives and stuff for a month, like trying to make money for the month, to be very profitable, make as much money as you can, like one does. But then if you take too much time working on a store that's not profitable, well, you quickly, that's what happened to me, like September now, you end up working in the wrong product. So you better be move fast and then not get too attached to a product, too emotional to a product, and then just start a new store and then try something else.
You've been going for around over a year, and you've had 20 stores. How many do you have running at one time, and how quickly do you, I suppose, kill the store off? Because you don't have all 20 now, do you?
No. It depends. I think the good average, maybe not the first year, but let's say since 2020, the good average is to have usually 3 stores. Sometimes it can be up to 4, but it doesn't stay for that long. That means I'm gonna kill one soon. But trying to work on 3 stores. Why? Because usually in these 3 stores, hopefully there is one that's working well, and 2 others that I'm trying to do some testing, and I'm trying 2 things. Also, there are stores that I'm using for different source of traffic. When I say different source of traffic, like one store that's mainly Facebook ads, another store that can be Snapchat ads that I started recently, which works very well. And another store it can be a bit of both, or it can be Google ads or Instagram influencers, things like this. 3 stores in general. 3 stores is good, and then if you do more, then you spread yourself too thin as well, and it's hard to manage. So it's not the right way to go either.
That's one of the things I was going to ask later. But how do you manage? Because there's a lot. It sounds like you've got a lot of skills that you need to learn. Do you think it's best to actually spend the time to learn them, or do you hire subcontractors to?
Well, the thing is, at the beginning, like a beginner that would listen now, I wouldn't encourage to have 3 stores at the beginning. That would be a terrible mistake, because you need to learn you need to keep focus on one store, and and that's a mistake most people make at the beginning as well, is to jump from one thing to another too quickly. Okay, I'm gonna try Instagram influencers. Okay, I'm gonna try now Facebook ads, and then I saw that on YouTube. I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna try that, and you don't actually have the time to really see all the stages of what you implementing, and then making mistakes, because making mistakes, everybody wants to avoid mistakes, but actually mistakes are good for learning. If you don't make mistakes, you don't know what to do. You need to make mistakes to learn from it. So the right way to go is just one single store, trying something, taking the time, really taking the time to do it, then making mistakes. You make mistakes, you try something else, or you try the same thing in a different way. And then when you have all the knowledge, it took me a long time, then you can start just when you're comfortable having different stores, and because it's quicker.
What mistakes have you made that you've learned from?
Lots of mistakes.
What was the best mistake?
Well, the thing is, it's hard, because the mistakes is to not jump quick enough from AliExpress at the beginning to a proper supplier, and then I got quickly buried under hundreds of emails, because the things that make the difference, for instance, AliExpress and a proper supplier, the proper suppliers. First of all, you're gonna have a better communication with that supplier. Direct communication, where you can talk to him through Skype or WhatsApp, whatever, about orders, when the supplier on AliExpress is dealing with lots of merchants, and then there isn't a really, really good way to talk to that person. That's very hard. And also the shipping time is very long. So basically, people like after a little while they send emails, rightly so, like to ask like, where is my product that I order? With a supplier, proper supplier, you already at the beginning through the quote and the pricing, you negotiate like shipping time, and you can keep monitoring this shipping time with the supplier, so it's quicker to arrive, and it's easier to make inquiries about like an order that's like stuck somewhere. If there is an issue, the supplier can send like a replacement or can do refunds or this kind of stuff. So that was a mistake that I made at the beginning. The first store that worked very well, I didn't jump like quickly enough on the supplier. And also because I did also, one of the things, and I mentioned it earlier, I wasn't willing to spend more money because the supplier, even if you order on bulk, like more products, you're still gonna pay a bit more than AliExpress. Why? Because you have a faster shipping time.
Yeah.
So the shipping cost, like, you spend more money on shipping. So overall, like you're gonna spend a bit more than you pay on AliExpress. So for that reason, the first quote that I asked, oh wow, I'm gonna spend like $2 more than on AliExpress per product. So wow, I'm gonna lose a lot of money. So I decided to stick with AliExpress, and then quickly, because it goes fast when you scale the business, and then you have like 200 orders a day, and then you have like 1,000, 2,000, 300, 3,000 orders per month, then you start receiving emails. And the problem is like you don't see it coming because it comes gradually. Like,
I see.
At the beginning, you have 5 emails, 5 inquiries a day. And then a few days later, you have 10, you're still handling it. And before you know it, you have like 50 emails and then 80 emails or something. So if you may not have 80 emails if you go through like a good supplier, but on AliExpress with the shipping time. So that was a big mistake. And I got buried with like 2, 3, 4 hours of customer service.
Is that
email?
So that's people saying, where's my product? Like, I've ordered from you. Why is it not?
80% of the inquiries are about the shipping. Like, how is the product? I didn't receive it yet. And when it's too long, obviously, of course, people are going to be kind of upset or asking questions about it. To the right supplier, it's fine, because even if people they ask like where it is, you just give, as long as you answer quickly to the email, like within 24 hours, and you give them like an accurate, proper answer. We check the status of your order. Here is your tracking number. It's in transit. It's supposed to arrive within 5 days or something like this. People usually they're happy about it. They know that it's okay. They didn't get scammed or something. They have a reference. They have a tracking number. That's all they need. So it's
have you
fine,
ever thought about hiring a virtual assistant to help you with those kind of?
I did, and you have to at one point for the emails, and mostly the emails. I have to say that's a mistake that I still do. I still have kind of trouble to delegating the emails, because I'm not sure that I will. I mean, it's like a lot of people, they told me anyway, they say, don't worry too much about if you delegate your emails, it's not going to be done as well as you do, because it's not anyway. It's never going to be as well as you do it yourself, but you need to accept that. Otherwise, you're going to keep like working 2-3 hours on your emails every day. So it has to be done. You have to make sure that they do it properly. It's never going to be like perfect like you wish it be. But that's something that's very important, is to delegate. Otherwise, you're spending too much time on tasks that you shouldn't do yourself, because you need to optimize your time for marketing, for making your business profitable. And although customer service is really, really, really important, it's very important. But if yourself, you spend all your time answering emails, you don't work on making money. You just pretty much work on customer service, which is good, but you don't have time to do the proper work. Customer service is answering emails, so a freelancer can do it very easily.
So do you use a freelancer to do it? Sorry to go.
What I do for the freelancers now, it depends the volume of emails. So if I have a product that's working very well, I might have like a freelancers for the emails. When it's quiet, and there are not so many sales with the stores. I do it myself. But as for freelancers, what I delegate usually is the editing the videos, because I realize that I have I'm a bit of like a perfectionist. So I like everything to be perfect, and it's not really a good thing often because you need to be efficient and you need to allocate the time properly. And I'm spending too much time doing things like, for example, editing videos. I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
So I go over it like 1,000 times trying to edit. And freelancers, like basically there are a lot on Upwork that you can find that's not so expensive, and to delegate the video. So it happens often now that I pay someone to edit the videos, and or to find a product as well. Find a product. It's rare that I ask like someone to find products. I like to do it myself, but the video it's important, and even myself for the emails. The big thing is the email. Like the email, everybody should delegate the email. I mean, when it becomes successful.
So let's talk about the products. How do you know what to sell? Like this, there's so many things out there. Is there like what are the criteria that you would look for? How do you know? Where do you start?
How do you know? How do you know? Basically, you don't. You don't. Now you try to get the likelihood in your favor, but you never know 100%. Sometimes you have a very, very good feeling, but it may happen that even with a very good feeling, it doesn't work. Why? For the competition, and also because you depend on the traffic source as well. For example, the most common one is Facebook. And Facebook, by the algorithm, Facebook is pretty much does whatever he wants. Facebook, they're the king. They decide whatever they want. So if they don't want to, because the bidding system as well, if they don't want to put your product, even if your website is perfect, even if your product is selling crazy, I mean, in general, and you add creative, your video is good. If Facebook like decides that they don't want to favor you, well, it can be very hard. Be very hard. So how do we find the product? As I said, there is a process on researching the product. So the criteria are, okay, a product that's been not saturated. So not saturated, that means not being advertised over and over by thousands and thousands of merchants for months and months and months or something. Usually within the last 30 days, even if it's within like last week or 10 days, it's even better. And something that has a lot of engagement. And but that's just the first part. So it's a very good sign. The product first, and after like watching so many ads, because you need to spend a lot of time like watching ads to see what works. So at one point,
is it in Facebook? So you would be researching?
Yeah, for example,
on Facebook.
On Facebook, that's the way to do it at the beginning. But after that, as I said, like you start investing and then not being like not want to spend money on software and things like this. Now I do it through a software. I pay for it, and then it kind of like you have filters, and then you enter all the filters that you want, and it's showing all the ads within these filters on social media. So it's quicker. It's quicker because you can do in the filters like minimum 1,000 likes between this date and this date, this country, this language, this button on the ads, or this keyword, and then it shows like all the advertisement rather than scrolling on Facebook to find.
So ads. It just pulls through all of the different advertisements based on all those different pieces of data. What is the software?
It's called, well, there are a bunch out there. There are a lot, but the most effective one, but it's expensive. It's AdSpy. It's called AdSpy.
AdSpy.
At the beginning, it's like people they're not so willing to, because it costs like 150 euros per month. So you don't really need it, because you can find the same ads on social media by scrolling. It just you save some time. It's more professional, the professional angle to have like all these filters, and then you really look for specific ads, like from keywords, or even to spy the competition. Like if you know it within your niche, or even if you are advertising a product and you want to see your competitors, how they present the marketing angle that they're using, just type like keywords about your own product, and then you have a bunch of like stores, and then you just have to visit them and to see, oh, that's interesting what they're doing. Or even what happened to me recently, like in May or June, by doing that, I realized that there were people that were stealing my content.
Oh.
And I ran in trouble with Facebook. That means, well, it's common that people, because they're using this software, when you have a good product, they find your product on the software.
Yeah.
And as I said, there are a lot of people, they don't want to put the work, so they just want quick money and stuff, so they just copy your content. But usually, most of the time, they have their own store, and then they're just doing the same product, and then they just steal the copywriting, the photos and stuff, which is already bad. It's upsetting, but it happens very often. But what I found out is that someone in a couple of stores actually just stole, they duplicate my store. That means with my logo, the name of my store, the colors, like the whole store was duplicated.
Yeah.
And I say, wow, that's why I saw a drop in my sales, because these guys are actually driving my traffic or like my potential customers to theirs. And then I got in trouble, because the problem is that because they use even the URL, they bought the same domain name as me, they just doubled the last letter. So very confusing for people.
Yeah.
And then the store had my logo and totally same as mine. So basically what happened is that not only I lost some money because they drove traffic to their website, but on top of it, I received the emails from their store because they didn't send the products. So people, they complained to my store because they thought obviously that they bought from me.
Yeah.
And then they complained to Facebook, and then I ran in trouble with Facebook, and then I had to explain them, and then those stores, I managed to shut them down. So I reported them to Facebook and to Shopify. But then it was too late already, because they had run for already like a few weeks, and hundreds and hundreds of orders. And then I received so many complaints that they thought they wouldn't believe it, because the thing is, it was even harder to explain them when the store were shut, because they couldn't find them anymore. So it was terrible, and I received like lots of complaints, and that's how a store and a profitable product can die. Basically, this is one example.
Yeah,
and that product, it worked so well, and then it turned to crap. Sorry, but like very quickly because of complaints. And then what happened? It's bad feedback. Bad feedback goes to Facebook, and then Facebook has a how to call it, like a feedback score. And then at a certain point, like it's 1 to 5. And then if you drop below 2, I think they start like giving you penalties. So they increase the price of like your CPM, your cost per mile. And so that means you pay more for the same advertisement. And at one point, if you drop like below 1, it's they shut your ad. And then the problem with that is not only they shut your ad, but I realized it's not official, but I saw it over time. It's like they kind of blacklist you. So that means if you do other advertisement about other products on the same ad account, they kind of like, they don't promote you. It's like, it's very hard to be profitable. So it's hard to run like Facebook ads. It can be hard. It's very, they're very harsh. And they have to actually, because why they have to? Because the thing is, they want to promote their platform. They want to have they don't want to have like people complaining, oh, every time I'm buying something on Facebook, it's a scam or something. So they have to do that. The problem is like sometimes like it's good because it eliminates a lot of scammers. But then on the other end, it makes things very, very like harder for legitimate business, because they keep implementing, like they're updating their advertisement guidelines and like the policy, and it gets harder and harder. They change stuff like all the time. And even now I saw like just this morning or yesterday that they changed. So now it's not when it drops below 1 that they shut you, it's when it drops below 2. So
Oh,
that means it's even harder. It's fair though, but that means you really need to watch your feedback, and the feedback problem is frustrating because sometimes it doesn't come from your store. People, they complain because they thought they bought from you, but they bought from competitors that done
yeah.
Anyway, that's
That,
part of the
well,
thing.
going back to one of the original questions when I said about the disadvantages, that seems like quite a big disadvantage there, that people can just copy you so easily.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can
Yeah.
prevent it? Like, is there any sort of brand registry or because?
Yeah, you could, but not a lot of people do that, because you could just do trademark or copyright and this kind of stuff. But it's a process that, because you never know like how long your brand is gonna last, and usually it dies like kind of quickly because of the competition and stuff. So don't like. Me personally, I've never done it. I think that's the right thing to do when you really, really manage to develop a brand.
Yeah.
And then you definitely need to do it to prevent this kind of stuff. But anyways, you're going to have some people that they're going to try, and you can't be spending your time all the time trying to find like people that are stealing, unless you employ someone that is looking out there like constantly.
Yeah.
So you can be like at any time of the day, like someone can open a store and decide that they're going to steal your product. So yeah, you have a way to fight it if you register like a trademark or this kind of thing. But I think that's a process that you do like already when you've been consistent, you had consistent results, and you started branding, and then you're developing like a brand. That would be the thing to do. Otherwise, it's kind of tricky. You can do, it's very limited. You can put like I do now after these stores that I mentioned before, like an add-on to the store, like a plugin or something to disable the right click. So like people, it's not easy. They can still do it, because if you have a way around it where you can copy these assets. But let's say for lazy people, and usually people that steal from you, they're lazy. So at least disable right click and stuff, it's harder for them because they can't highlight and like copy and paste the text. They can't capture the photos. Well, they can do a screenshot and then like recrop it, but they can't. It's not easy for them to steal the assets. If they really want, they will do it anyway. So that's one thing. And then when you notice them, you just send them an email and say, well, just take it off, otherwise I'm gonna have to report you. And then you can report it on Facebook and Shopify, but it's waste of time. And then usually they've done already like driving traffic and then stealing your. Well, it's part of the game, let's say.
Yeah. So, Julien, I realize it's been about an hour. It's gone very fast. I didn't get. Have you still got time, or are you? I appreciate
yeah,
you've got
time.
stuff
No worries. Yeah, you have time. Yeah.
So we've gone through the brief thing of you find a product. So you do your research, usually by looking at what else is working on Facebook. I want to ask if you've ever gone in, like tried to do something that's not through Facebook, but we'll save that, I think, for another time. Once you find the product, how do you find the suppliers, and where do you find them?
Well, the suppliers, there are different methods to the suppliers. You can go right away on Alibaba. So that's more sort of AliExpress, but not AliExpress. It's more for the bulk order.
Yeah.
It means you can't order just one unit.
And
so you can get
Alibaba, for people that aren't aware, what is that?
It's a platform, it's a market platform where you can find like basically, because it's in China, you can find any product, like literally any product in the world, you're going to find it. And unlike AliExpress, let's say, it's the same thing, but AliExpress, it's something that's available for everyone that can find a product, and you buy one product.
Yeah.
Not even if you want a drop shipping for yourself, and then it's based in China, so you order a product and you can find anything. Alibaba is the same thing, but let's say for professional. That means you can find any product that you want, and then you're going to have a supplier that's going to tell you, okay, minimum order 500, and then a price, and then you can get in contact with these suppliers and ask them a quote or negotiate with them. That's one way to do. Or otherwise, you need sourcing agent. That's the way I do now. Usually it's the sourcing agent, but the sourcing agent, that's the question that everybody asks. How do you find them? Well, at the beginning, it's not easy. You need to have do a bit of networking and be in contact of like people that have been working with sourcing agents that are like reliable, and then you get to know these suppliers. The first one that I knew was through the course that I followed. There was three dropshipping sourcing agents that were mentioned in that course, that were known to be reliable, that the guy Yomi worked with. So he said, well, if I'm advertising this guy in my course, that means I know they're solid, that you can work with them. And if anyone has a problem with one of these suppliers, you let me know, and then I'm going to tell them, like, you better work seriously, because like I have 10,000 people that I'm like promoting your name to. So if you start not working well, I just, blacklist you. So that was the first. That was the first.
The sourcing agents, what is it that they do? So you would normally search on Alibaba, say, to find suppliers. Does the sourcing agent do that? Do they do it? Are they actually in China? Like what?
Yeah, the sourcing agent, the people that are in China, and then you contact them, and then that's their job. They're professional at that. You ask them for a product, and then they say, okay, let me know what I can do. And then they go to the factories. They ask to the factories like some quotes. And then, of course, they take like a bit of like a margin for themselves.
Yeah.
And then they tell you, okay, I can source this product for that price. The MOQ, the minimum order quantity for custom packaging is, I don't know, 100 orders or 500 orders or 1,000 orders. And you negotiate with this sourcing agent, who is going to negotiate himself with the factories. And then you deal just with one single person, that you have this communication process through which you're gonna, it's gonna be with the factories and yourself.
So as a drop shipper though, my understanding is you're buying one product at a time from a supplier. So the customer goes onto your store, they place the order, you then place it through the supplier. But you're saying there are minimum order quantities of, say, like 500 units. So are you committing to buying 500 units with that supplier before you've had the orders?
No, that's one way to do it on Alibaba. Usually there is no way around it. Alibaba, like, you have a minimum order quantity to order. So the sourcing agent, they decide themselves how many orders, usually daily or weekly, they want you to have in order to work with them, because they don't want to bother if you have just a couple of orders a day. It's not interesting for them, because they're not going to waste their time. But usually, let's say, the basis is 50 orders per day. That's a good basis. If you have like 50 orders per day, you can contact them. They're going to be happy to work with you, and you don't have like a minimum order quantity to actually order. Like, the minimum order quantity is more going to be like a thing for the custom packaging, to have the logo on the packaging and stuff, because this is the factory, and the factory is not going to do like custom packaging unless you order bulk, like a lot of orders. But otherwise, how it works, like every day I do on daily basis with the sourcing agent. The sourcing agent, whenever like time zone he is, and then he's checking my store, he has like a software that's linked to the Shopify store, and then he can see like all the orders of the day, and he basically send me like a quote, actually, like according to these orders. So he say, okay, you had all these orders today, so, and he send me like an invoice. Okay, today, I don't know, let's say 57 orders. And he send me an invoice, and then I transfer him the money, and then he fulfills these orders. He goes buy the product.
Pay them every day?
Well, it depends and that's the goal. If you really increase the order amount, you can start buying inventory, and that's the transition that's so hard to get, is to really reach a point, and this has to be very quick, because if it's not quick enough, you already kind of like run into trouble with Facebook or feedbacks or whatever. But really quickly is to have enough order to take the risk of buying inventory. Buying inventory, not in a proper e-commerce sense of having the inventory in your own warehouse near you, but buying this inventory to the sourcing agent. That means, okay, I pay you for 1,000 units. Then the sourcing agent is going to buy these 1,000 units. And then it goes faster because he already has the inventory. If it's like, as I said, 57 orders today, he has them already and he ships them like right away. Whereas when it's daily and he has to go to buy daily, he might have a processing time of 2-3 days, and you're already like wasting time on shipping because the processing time is a bit longer.
So who ships the products? Is it your sourcing agent?
The sourcing agent. Yeah, the sourcing agent. Yeah.
There's if the suppliers essentially, why don't the suppliers do drop shipping themselves? Like if they've got the products that they're making, why don't they do it? Why?
That's the marketing. Because they don't know how to do marketing, they don't know any better, and they have like, I guess, like a profitable business of their own with this sourcing, because they work with lots of people. So I guess they don't want to do that because it's again, it seems very easy dropshipping, but it's a lot of work actually to be really profitable and make money. As you said, sometimes you see videos with like these guys, they have like Lamborghinis at the back and stuff. So, well, as they said in course, that's their goal, to show that it's beautiful and then it's easy enough for you to want to buy the course. But the truth is, like, there is no one that's successful in dropshipping, that's very profitable, makes a lot of money, that has it easy. Impossible. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So you're not gonna work like an hour per day and just like have the beautiful life and stuff. Like if you don't work like, well, there is no rule for it, but you have to work like a proper office job. Basically, you're gonna work your 6, 7, 8, 10 hours per day on doing the things.
How long do you work on your business?
Well, usually, it depends on the situation. Well, the goal is really like I'm in the like really want to work hard. I'm trying to work 10 hours per day, but it's not always easy. Because as you said, sometimes like depending on your situation, you have responsibilities and stuff. So if you're living with a partner and stuff, and depending like, by night you want to spend a bit of time or have dinner together and stuff. Like when you're on your own, it's easy to work 10 hours per day. When you're not, it's a bit trickier. But usually like a minimum 7 hours. So I think like a day at the office, 7-8 hours. So you start at 9 and then you finish like early evening, like 7 or something like this.
What was I going to say? You mentioned to move then from, you've got your supplier, you found your products, you've got your supplier. You mentioned that then you've got to build the store. And we've already touched on some of the store stuff anyway, but how important is the name of the store?
It's not.
No?
It's not yet. That's part of the things that at the very beginning, you spend way too much time overthinking it. I remember spending hours like to try to find a really exciting name for my store, when actually I still do sometimes. Like as I said, a bit perfectionist. You want something that sounds very good, and then that relate to the product and something like that. It's not important. It's not important.
So when I say the name, I mean like the URL, does that have to match the name? Does the logo have to match the name? Or can you have a brand that's got a different store name?
If you want to be professional, you should, and I always did, for example, like to have a proper domain. Well, there are some people that don't even buy a domain. You see the URL, and you see that there is still the myshopify.com. So that's the standard when you open a Shopify store. You have this URL. So you have the name of your store, .myshopify.com. So some people, they don't even bother. Well, if you really want to run a profitable business and grow it, that doesn't look professional, so you shouldn't do it. But again, to get started, it's not very important. You have a lot of things that you must do or you should do. This is one of them. but you have the most important things, like Pareto, like 80-20. You have the 80% of the stuff that you do, it just gives you like 20% of your results. So you really need to nail down like the 20% of the stuff that you do and then spend more time on that. So instead of worrying about the URL name, like the domain name or the logo or the stuff like this, which, can be important in some ways, but not that important to actually driving sales. They are like more important things to do. These are more details. And if you want to be professional, you can work on these details, but not at first.
So you're saying the store name is not important. What makes you think that?
Because
have you had a bad store name?
But well,
or what that you think is bad, and you see that it.
It's sometimes it's hard, like to find the inspiration, because the thing is, it's not the thing that you think first. You find a product, as I said, and when you're ready, you want to jump right into it and say, oh wow, so I need to find a store name, and then you want to really, really start to do the store, but then you say, well, I need a store name. So sometimes on the spot, you say, wow, I'm gonna call that. And remember, sometimes like the right way to go would be to think, okay, I want a name that's related to the product that I'm going to do. But sometimes if the product doesn't work, if you don't want to rebuild a new store, you may keep the same store and do another product. So if you do something that's too specific, sometimes you can't, like, for example, I say like you sell chairs or something. And if your domain name is mychair.com, and you sell a chair, it doesn't work, and then you want to sell like, a phone or something, or earphones, like mychair.com it's going to be a bit stupid. So a more mainstream name. But well, usually the store that I had and that worked well, actually stuff that was totally made up, like that's stores that are not running anymore. But actually, no, there is one that I sold that is still running. The Macro Frame, one of the stores was called Macro Frame. Macro Frame doesn't mean anything. Well, you could say like macro and frame. So it was a photography product, but technically it's not a word, Macro Frame. So I started it, and I did some good branding around it, and they worked very well. Back in the day, like that's the name of the company, like Dolce Secrets literally means nothing. It's nothing, but it sounded well at the
Sounds
time.
Good,
or like it was a cosmetic, because it was a cosmetic store. And say, well, I didn't know, and then I didn't want to copy something, and I didn't want that, because this store that you see, this dropshipping store, it's like a gooddeal.com or best deal or this kind of thing. It sounds funny to me, so I don't like it. So try to find something that sounds good enough to be like kind of the name of a brand. That doesn't mean that it needs to mean like anything specific. So yeah, you should find something that you like, but don't spend too much time. Don't overthinking it.
Yeah. Is the logo more important then than the store name?
Not really.
No.
Not really. There are code though for the logo. That means you should, I don't know how to explain. It's like it should look like something professional. So that means, well, usually the right thing to do, because we're not logo designer, and that's something you can delegate as well. I didn't do it because now I kind of got good at it in a way. And again, it's not important to have like a professional digital, like someone that's going to do like something very professional, very fancy.
Yeah.
But at least like an image or logo and the name of the store as part of the logo, and then you work on the font or like something like this. But it's not complicated. A logo, it should take 10 minutes to do a good logo. Yeah, not very important. And then it's part of the branding. Like later on, if you like develop very profitable and stuff, you can hire someone. You invest in a good logo.
So you find your product, you then find the supplier, you build the store, then you've got to advertise.
Yeah.
You said you use Facebook, and you've also mentioned, I think you mentioned Snapchat and Google. Which was the easiest one to get to learn? And
well, the easiest one to get started is Facebook. To get started, and that's the one that everybody favor, because the other one is, well, Snapchat is fairly new, that their advertising platform works pretty much the same way as Facebook. And there's a big opportunity in some markets because it's not oversaturated like Facebook. Or Facebook is very expensive to advertise. Why? Because there are a lot of advertisers, and it's a bidding system, so it's very expensive. Snapchat, there aren't like too many people that are advertising on. Like relative to Facebook, so it's kind of cheap, and there's a good opportunity because in some markets, like the US, obviously, but like in France, for example, or the huge users of Snapchat. It's a good opportunity, but mainly like the most common traffic are Facebook, Google in a way, and through the influencers on Instagram. I tried influencers because it's a good opportunity. Usually the people that make the most money is through like influencers on Instagram, but I tried a bunch of times. It wasn't really profitable. I could have persevered, but the thing is with the influencer, it takes too long to organize. So if you have something that didn't work, it's very hard to motivate yourself again to do it again, because it's going to take you another 2-3 weeks minimum to organize another promotion, and at the meantime you have nothing running. Whereas on Facebook you have something that's constantly running, and then you can make like little iteration every day and see what works, what don't work, and make adjustments. And it's very like if you kill something, like a couple of days later, depending on how fast you are to start something else, you can start running ads again. So Facebook is good for that.
Are you always making video ads, or do you sometimes use images and text?
You could use images, but it's not what's profitable. What's most profitable, works best is the videos. People are, for clothes or this kind of stuff, like photos, it can be attracting, or watches or something like this. But that's usually what could work on photos. As images, it's hard because usually it's a oversaturated niche, like clothing or jewelry, watches, this kind of stuff. And usually there are already big boys, big brands and stuff that's using this system and make a lot of money. So it's gonna be very hard. No, I do it for remarketing or retargeting for people that are already like added to cart or like interacted with my ad with images, but otherwise it's always videos.
Oh, cool. Do you make the videos all yourself, and do you make them from home? Do you have a studio?
I don't have a studio, but the right way to go is to find from suppliers some bits of videos from suppliers. You can find some free ride content on YouTube as well. You better be sure that it's a free ride content. And not stealing it from someone else, and also ordering the product, and usually using friends or like to like people using the product, and try to be like original and do a good video.
So you do it all yourself, like you would order the product from the supplier, and I'm trying to think,
because that's the thing to do. It's not always easy, because the thing is you have to order a product. And it can take time, but you can also order it on Amazon, because most of the products you can also find them on Amazon. So you can order the same product. It's not like you order it on Prime, so you have it fairly quickly, and then you don't include the packaging obviously in the video, but just to use the product to make some nice footage of the product, and see like a bunch of your friends or your partner or your friend like using the product, so you can do something in different context and have different bits that you can edit together to make like a creative. And that's the right way to go, because 95% of the dropshippers, meaning the people that don't make profit, just try and then steal, or like doing like the lazy way. They just copy each other. Like the videos. They just copy the videos. They use the videos of the same. And the things that they have to know, it's like Facebook. Facebook don't like that. So they have higher CPM, so they pay their ad like more expensive. So first of all, so if you pay your ad, like it's more expensive for you to pay your ad. So that means you're losing on profit already. And they're using the same ad. So when Facebook, the algorithm see that it recognizes the same ad, like it doesn't favor that these advertisers, and then you don't know why it doesn't work. Say why it works for someone else doesn't work for me. Yeah, but you use the same ad.
So they actually know. Facebook know if you've effectively.
Yeah, they kind of know. So you could edit, and it's well. First of all, you could have a penalty or be banned if you use like 100% like the same video of someone else, not edited. But usually it's fine. But then it's hard to be profitable because they know like in their code and then all their software, their stuff, they can recognize like the videos. And but usually what you can do what's tolerated is to, like, let's say you see like a video from a competitor or different competitor, is to edit bits of these videos, like, but you have your own editing, like your own logo that you put on the watermark on the video. You use your own free write music on it, and then you edit it. So you don't use like the whole thing of someone else. So you can edit it, but so you can be profitable if you edit it like in a nice way, and what's called the scroll stopper, so the first 3 seconds to like really work on these first 3 seconds. But the best way to do it is to have your own content, and that's when you start working in the right way, and it starts working better, and you have low CPM, and then good like click-through rate. It's to have the product and make your own content. This one nobody else has it, so you're the only one to use it. So that's the best way to do it.
So final question, because I'm aware that I've taken too much of your time anyway. Which
that's okay. That's okay. That was nice.
It's currently, so it's almost October 2020. Do you think that it's still possible, if someone's watching this now and they are thinking of starting a dropshipping business, is it still possible to get started in 2020 or 2021?
Oh yeah, definitely possible, because I know the lot of things that you're gonna hear here and there, and it's dropshipping is dead, it's too saturated, doesn't work anymore. But this just a cycle that repeats all the time. Like 2 years ago when I started, there was this video already, and these people like, dropshipping is dead, and then beginning 2020 it was the same. Oh yeah, this year it's impossible, it's dead, and it doesn't work anymore. But the people that say that, it's people that they don't really know or never really made it happen that say that, but it still works. Why? Because dropshipping is just as we explained at the beginning, the model, the way it's done. But what it is, technically it's not the proper definition, but it's e-commerce. So basically saying like, is dropshipping is still gonna work or still works? It's like saying, are people gonna still buy online? Well, the answer is yes, and more so, more and more. So yeah, as long as people are buying online, and that's the case, dropshipping is still gonna work. But the interesting question is it still as easy as it used to be to start on dropshipping? Like, the answer is no. It's harder. Harder doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's just it's harder and harder for people that don't want to put the effort and are lazy and want to get rich quick or stuff like this. It's harder and harder for these people because of too much competition. And as I said, like the advertising platforms, they tolerate less and less stuff. So, and also like a kind of like buyers as well, they got immune as well, like over time, like to see this kind of same ads over and over.
Yeah.
So you basically now you can get away with dropshipping only if you do at least some sort of branding. That means you need to have like a professional store. You need to pay for a team or page builder. You need to have like something that looks professional. You need to be original in your choice of products. You can use the same products that's saturated, and you need to have like a good back end, like a good supplier, good shipping time, to avoid the bad feedbacks and all this stuff. So yeah, it sounds not as easy as it was at the beginning, and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get rich quick, and then Shopify easy, and then Facebook. No, this definitely not going to work if you're not willing to put the effort. But otherwise, yeah, definitely it's a good opportunity for everyone, because everyone can learn. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
But it takes time and work.
Well, I think that's a good place to call it. Thank you so much for your time, Julien. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure.
Oh, it's been fun. And we might have to do a second one to kind of drill into a few of the other points.
Okay, sure. No problem.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot. And
okay.
Cheers.
See you next time.
See you soon. Bye.
Ciao.
I hope you found my interview with Julien interesting and that you learned a thing or two about how to run a successful dropshipping business. If you've got any questions about dropshipping, if there are any topics that you would like us to cover, please leave them in the comments below. Are you a dropshipper? Are you thinking of getting started with dropshipping? If you are, what are the biggest hurdles and the biggest challenges that you're facing at the moment? Let me know in the comments below. By the way, if you enjoyed that, I've got a lot of other good content planned. I've got interviews with other successful e-commerce business owners lined up. And if you want to learn about e-commerce, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up to date and that you don't miss a thing. And that's it. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ecommerce Joe.